Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is having a great week and a happy Wednesday. It's been a while since we've been on here, but I think we're both happy to be back on here. A little bit of a change. I think we're going to start doing our In the Works live streams on Wednesdays at 1 Eastern. I believe Cameron and I can be a little bit more consistent by doing that, especially with summertime being here, and weekends are just hard with families. So we've decided to do it on Wednesdays, kind of in place of the huddle. We'll still do the huddle like normal on the last Wednesday of every month. So watch out for that. If we have something to show you guys, we'll be on live stream to do that. But if not, we may be on Twitter. So just watch out for that. But there are a few things we want to talk about today. I think today kind of popped up as a great day to get on here and talk to everyone. Some things have been coming up in the chat the last couple of days as far as exchanges go and some other things. So let's get Cameron on here. We'll wait a couple minutes, maybe chit chat for a little bit, and then we'll get started. Good afternoon, Cameron. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Yep. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. It's been a while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to be here. Happy to be on with the community and kind of address some things too. It'll be good.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been a lot going on the past few weeks. I know we haven't really talked since probably the last huddle we've been on here, but definitely some good things to cover this afternoon and kind of explain to the community what's been going on. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, things as far as just a general update, things are trucking along. Lee and I have been on some calls with some people recently, just making sure that we're on track with things. I mean, we know that. I mean, we've been talking about this as a community. We're moving forward with making para security. If anyone is aware of some of the stuff that's been going on with the SEC and Binance and Coinbase and everything, it's a wild wild time right now. And it's I don't know. I tend to think that it's good. I mean, there's a lot of conflict, but I think this conflict will breed progress in a way that we really need. So we're working on that, navigating that minefield right now, and just trying to see, how does this all play out. And then there's another thing. So we have our big partner with Prime Trust, and they announced that they're being bought out by another company. Now, I don't foresee this, like we've been in conversations with them and everything. I don't foresee this changing anything for us. I will say it may have a kind of delay effect. They're switching over everything. So what we're doing is we have our compliance and we're doing our development and everything, but now we're working with their team. So it's not just Spencer and Dave and our team internally. We're now working with Prime Trust team. They have to build things on their end and they have to whatever. And I do think that this is causing slight disruptions because they're doing a lot more on their end. They're migrating their systems and changing their communications and doing a lot of stuff like this. So I would, unfortunately, we've been pushing really, really hard. I would say that may actually result in a slight delay. Ultimately, at the end, it'll be the product that we want. We're still pushing to see if there's any way to make that not happen, but it just seems to be what's going on. As far as the buyout, shouldn't change anything. It doesn't seem like it's going to change our capabilities or anything like that.
That's good. Yeah, I know the article had come out and somebody had said something in the main chat, and of course we're all like, is the deal still good? Of course, we just signed with them and sent money, and so all that stuff, it's kind of like, want to get some clarity on that. But that's to be expected, when some of the company is being sold and bought by somebody else, things are going to happen. Changes are going to be made, and it's just going to slow the progress up. But I think in the end, like you said, it's still a huge win. We could go back to just launching in 3 or 4 states, or we could wait maybe a little bit longer and have a much broader reach right, when we launch. I think that's the main goal anyway.
Yeah. And it's weird. I mean, this environment is so volatile. It's so volatile. Obviously, this is aside from, say, a buyout, right? But
Yeah.
I do want to say this should strengthen our position. This buyout, they're not buying a company to lose money. They're buying a company
Right.
to grow it, right? So we're a big customer of theirs. We've come in and we've paid a lot of money to them. So they're not looking to say, "Here's your refund, get out of here. We're not in. We don't want to make money." That's obviously what they do. So they're gonna help us, and they're very very much, especially with compliances and licenses and everything. It's really good to have a partner like this. So I don't foresee anything like that, but I'll tell you, it is weird. States are also looking at different things. I think Idaho, unfortunately, we got a notification that Idaho dropped off of the states that we would be able to provide a service in, at least for now. So it seems like it was a change in their licensing, and so that license is like, all right, well, they've got to go back to the drawing board, and
Yeah.
so it's just an interesting time. But here's the thing. This is really what I want to highlight. It's because it's still bleeding edge. It's not that people
Yeah.
are like, what is this? Right. And I think that bodes well for a company that understands it and is building in this. I know that we're in crypto. And so, it seems like, oh, this is nothing new to the world, and to states and federal government and everything like that, businesses. This is completely new.
Yep.
I have no idea. And so everyone's trying to figure out, regulators and lawmakers and everything, how do we even move forward with this? So
Yep.
this is the bleeding edge, and we'll be there, and we'll just have to flow with it.
Yep. This space is very fluid right
Yeah.
now. There is, as we go along, and I'm expecting more states eventually to, Idaho may come back and another state may drop off as things are changing. You got to remember, these are states, right? So they could do their own, maybe they change something, or maybe the government requires states to change something. Who knows? But I mean, look at New York. How long have they been working on New York to
Yeah,
get
over 2 years.
over 2 years to be licensed, right? So I expect more states to drop off and then come back, eventually,
Hmm.
because like we said, it's so fluid. Things are changing literally every day.
Yeah. And it's, like, that Texas is one of those states where they were licensed, and then they said, you know what, we want to change the criteria, and so now they're working on changing the criteria and meeting that criteria, right?
Yeah.
So there's things like that, but it's going to be fluid. It's going to be interesting. We'll navigate it, but it's cutting edge. We're at the forefront of this whole thing, both with the SEC and payment processing. Lee did a really great job in picking the two most just groundbreaking avenues that we could take within crypto. But yeah, I mean, it's going well. I mean, things are going well, and we're doing, we're progressing in the way that I think we ought to be. It's just it's just a challenge to navigate everything. But anyway, so I would say it's fluid. I mean, Bruce Lee, right? Be water.
Yep.
We just have to be water. We just have to go with the flow and do
Yep.
the best that we can and adapt to the circumstances. Adaptability is huge, and we're able to do that. We're nimble enough to do that.
Yep.
Now, as far as the centralized exchanges, I think it's really worth having a conversation on this.
Yeah.
So we still have, it's Bitmart is still active.
Yeah.
Hotbit went underwater from
Months
their
ago.
own mismanagement or whatever it is. So they closed down, and then XT, they removed Para from the exchange, and so we're working on getting that sorted out. It's we're being very careful with this, and we've had internal talks, kind of seeing what's been going on with these centralized exchanges. I mean, for a while now, right? they have, so there's market maker bots where you basically are using this bot to put in orders, and having to maintain a certain type of volume and a certain amount of buys and sells on the chart. And we worked on this for a while to be compliant with them. And then looking at this, it was almost like kind of not seeing the forest, or seeing the forest for the trees. So we stepped back, and I was looking at this, and then I was seeing what the SEC was talking about with exchanges and wash trading, which is basically fake volume on centralized exchanges. And we were like, "Whoa, wait a second! This is actually not okay."
We don't like this.
We don't like this. So I know that the exchanges, they want this and they require this. However, the SEC says that this is illegal, right? You can't put fake volume on there. You can't deceive investors by making them think that there's more volume, more holders, more buyers than there actually are. And so we were looking at this and we were like, wow. Also, in addition to this, we have some pretty good reason to believe that we are being counter traded, likely by the centralized exchanges themselves. Yeah. So I'm not going to name any specific exchange in this. I want to be careful with what I'm saying, but it does seem to be the case that in some circumstances we were being counter traded, and it's almost like they may own the exchange, and so they have the ability and the insight to kind of exploit what we're doing. They say it has to work like this, and then we put in, thousands and thousands of dollars. There was about a 2-week period, and when we were going through and making adjustments and whatever, and then we just pulled the plug. We're like, just shut it down, because they were bleeding our liquidity account, something like, it was hundreds of dollars an hour. Hundreds of dollars an hour.
Bad. Yeah.
It was really bad. And so what we said is, like, we'll put in the bots, but we're doing like $1. So they're gonna go through all this work, and at the end they're gonna drain $1, right? But time goes by, and sure enough, they drained $1 at a time, and then they hit us back up. Hey, you need to fund this account again. We need more money in there. Blah blah blah. And it was like, we're not doing it. We're not doing fake volume. We're not putting in this phony crap. That's illegal. It's going to get us in trouble. But also, we're just throwing money away. You know. So anyway, not to filibuster here, but XT, they removed us because we did not put in the fake volume. So that's what that is. Hotbit is active. No word from Hotbit. Seems like we're all good there. Or sorry, not Hotbit, but Bitmart. Yep. And then of course Hotbit closed down.
Yep.
So that's what I have on that topic.
And I did I saw someone had listed or posted that Hotbit had opened up withdrawals, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. So, I know we were talking about this morning. The team was talking about this. We've had some questions being asked about Hotbit, like what, I bought this many tokens in Hotbit. What can I do? And one thing we've always talked about is, the team's always been around and always been there for our holders to make it right. So I just want to let everybody know, whether Cameron wants to kind of extend on this or not, but the discussion is being had right now with the team about what can be done about this. So, if you're listening, you have tokens on Hotbit, we're trying to come up with a solution to take care of the holders.
Yeah. No holder left behind. That's the motto. That's what we're all about. We just have to be careful. What we don't want to do is send tokens in. Matter of fact, we're having an exchange right now, and they're like, hey, please unbot our wallet. Let us, have access to these tokens. And I'm like, I don't know. Because they're supposedly have to send it back to us, but I don't trust people I don't trust them very much. So we have to try and build in some assurances. Anyway, I would say this: if there's a way to move it off of an exchange into a DeFi wallet and verify, that this is a holder and not an exchange, then yeah, I don't think we have any issues whatsoever replacing those and moving someone over to the new token.
Yeah. So bottom line, if you have the opportunity to take your tokens out of the exchange, no matter which one it is, send it to a DeFi wallet, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase, whatever the case is, we can track the movements of those tokens. So if you give us the wallet address, we can see that they're coming from, say, Hotbit or XT or whatever the case is to that DeFi wallet. So, but first step is you got to get them out of the exchange into a DeFi wallet. And that's the first step in us being able to take care of that for you. So do that. And then, as what the team's willing to do becomes more clear, we'll let everybody know for sure.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thing. Trying to navigate this whole thing. But I don't know. I kind of happy to see some of these exchanges going away. The value that they supposedly offered to holders and investors and stuff, it never really matched, never really made sense. It didn't do anything for the project. So I mean, I don't want to say that it was bad. It was good for the time. I think it's run its course, and I'm happy to be moving away from it. And also in a time, I mean, we talked about the SEC, we talked about these centralized exchanges. What we're building with the Parapay app and the ability to onboard, offboard, or on ramp.
Yep.
Para's, I mean, smack dead center, going to be a really important utility. I got a notification. Binance, crypto, or not crypto, but Coinbase. I don't have a crypto.com account, but I have accounts with those two. Can't withdraw, so I've got to go somewhere else if I want to cash out and whatever. So it'll be great to have the Parapay app, because now that'll work.
Yeah, because even if you start making money in crypto right now, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
You can't offboard it to a bank account if there's no withdrawals at Coinbase. So,
and the challenge is this. I mean, yeah. So let's say even as a project, right? We have a small tax on sales. We collect that in Ethereum, so we have Ethereum, but we have a real world expense that the business has to pay. Somehow we've got to go from Ethereum to US dollars, put it in our bank account, and pay the bill, pay the developer, pay whatever. How do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we do that? Binance is closed, so I mean, I guess we got to look at like Kraken or Femix or potentially some other ones and see what's available. But some of the biggest ones are closing up and saying we're not providing that. So we can be that piece for a lot of people, even if it's nothing more than just coming in and out of crypto.
Yeah, and it's not centralized, right? So you're not dealing with the centralized part of that exchange as far as what the government's doing. So just another plus for Parapay.
Yeah, we're not a centralized exchange. Not doing anything like that, right? We just work directly with liquidity pool providers, and so just people that they make money off of a whole bunch of microtransactions, whole bunch of people. They have a few basis points that they keep as their incentive to offer their Ethereum or offer their US dollars, and these pools just allow people to exchange, come in and out. Yep. So yeah, it's great.
Yep. So one other thing I want to hit on right now too is the NFTs preppers right now are on sale. So if you guys are looking for, I know we just kind of cut the rewards in half on staking. So now is a great opportunity for you guys to get some preppers at a cheaper price so you can, up your percentage on the staking platform. So check those out on OpenSea. Remind me of the price, Cameron. Was it 0.7 ETH?
I
Right now,
the prepper it's 0.07.
0.07. Right,
Yeah.
okay,
Is it
perfect.
7.5? I can't
That's what I
remember.
was wondering. I'm like, is it 0.075 or 0.07?
Let's say 0.075. And then if it's 0.07, you'll be happy about it.
Anyway, it's cheaper than they were. So get some more of those. It's a great opportunity. I love what the team did, kind of doing a sale on those. So with taking rewards down to 2 million a day, obviously we're all getting less rewards than we were, but this is just an awesome opportunity to kind of up those again. So check those out on OpenSea. Also helps the project, of course. Money goes to the project for payments on utility. So just another reason to go buy some of those. And there are plenty of those, so no worries if you haven't been on there yet. Go check them out.
Yeah, I think that's important. So appreciate the reminder to people. NFTs in particular, obviously they help with the staking, but they help us as a project a lot more. This money goes straight into development, straight into marketing, straight into the company itself. It's great. You can earn those extra bonuses when you're staking. So if you're interested, buy those and then get them staked, earn some extra rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. Fred
So what
asked
else
who they're being bought out by. I'm assuming he's talking about Prime Trust. Is it BitGo that's buying them?
I
If I
believe it
remember right.
is. Yeah, BitGo.
Yeah. There's an article out there about BitGo buying them. So what kind of process it's going to be, we don't really know. How long or when it's going to be, but Prime Trust is. I'm assuming they're not looking at business being down for Prime Trust. I'm assuming they're going to want to keep trucking along and be in business as much as usual as possible. So hopefully it doesn't affect us too much, but the team will keep continuing to push on, making sure everything's ready up until that point.
Yeah. They're a pretty big company.
Yeah, I've heard of them before.
I'm just trying to see if I can get basically they seem to be behind some of the bigger names, a lot of the bigger names, and Prime Trust was and is as well. So I think that this is a good move. Wish them the best, but yeah, BitGo. That's what it's called. Yeah.
And I'll post the article. I just found it, the one from CoinDesk. So I'll post that in the chat, in the main chat in Telegram. I can post it here too. So there it is in the chat, guys. If you guys want to check it out, it does say preliminary agreement. So, who knows what will happen from here, but it is a pretty large firm. So
yeah, and what it means is that it probably means that we'll have more ability in the future if we want to work with them. Might be able to offer some more services, and then just bigger and better liquidity pool access, right? So yeah. I think one of the challenges, again, like we're looking at Texas, they said we need to change what's happening with the licenses. So not only is it 1-to-1 on holdings, but we want revenue to also be 1-to-1-to-1, right? So while they're doing that, their license is down. But I would imagine that something like this might be able to help with that because there's a lot of funds coming in and, just access to more revenue to meet those demands.
Yeah.
What is this? So you shared that y'all had several phone calls about what? About what was SCTC stuff? For sure, positively. Yeah, I mean the phone calls that we've had with the SEC stuff everything's positive. So it's just us doing the things that we need to be doing. There's been some people that we have they're really interested in working with us. I would say So there's a few things along with this, but yeah, we talked with the team that's helping us get the prospectus out. Also, Lee had a conversation with someone that works with an investment firm, and they're very excited for what we're doing. And I mean, everything's going smoothly, going great. So yeah, I mean, no, there's nothing. I don't want to get into too much, you know. I don't want Lee or someone get mad at me for saying too much. But no, the phone calls that we've had, everything's going great. It's just kind of sitting here saying, okay, things are going great for us, but I'm seeing how it's going for other people, and feeling a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. Like,
Well, how can
I
you
don't know.
not feel a little uneasy with everything that's going on? I mean, when you see Binance.us and Coinbase all getting attacked, it's, what does it hold for the future of everything else in crypto, But all we can do is continue to, make steps in the right direction that we think is the best, way to survive all this, I guess is the best way to put it, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next months or years coming, but we know that crypto's not going anywhere. We just don't know exactly what it's going to look like.
Yeah, Gensler's been getting a lot of heat from the decisions that he's made and how the SEC has acted under his watch, and I hope that they straighten it out, because what it looks like right now, and according to the lawsuit that Coinbase is now suing the SEC, because there's no guidance, no guidance whatsoever, and I mean, look, we're not the only people that had the idea of, I don't know, being a legal security, right? This is actually the natural progression, and so you have these massive institutions, massive businesses. You don't think Coinbase is a legal team, right? Like they've never talked about this before. Of course they have. Like this has got to be something that they go over twice a week for the last 2 years. And stay on top of this. So from what we're hearing and what it seems like with the lawsuit is they've been reaching out to the SEC. Letters, we want to do this, we're trying to get this, help us out, give us clarity, whatever, to receive basically nothing, right? They're not getting anything back. No guidance, no answers. And then they come to Coinbase and they say, hey, so we're going to sue you for violating security law or whatever. And it's like, how can they operate like this? So there's a lot of tension. Like I said, we haven't encountered anything like that. But yeah, there's a lot of tension right now, but it's going to lead to, I don't know, the growth and the clarity that we need, right? A government agency can't withhold any information, right? Like they basically they write their laws in their books but won't show you the books, and then you just have to guess and you have to whatever, and then you violated our law. And it's like, okay, well, I asked you like 1,000 times, what is the rule? How do we do this? It's good. It's just weird. I have to say, it's just weird. It's I'll just attribute it to incompetence. Gensler's I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumors, so I don't want to speculate, but I don't know. Maybe it just seems like it's too much for them to take on, and so they're just going after people instead.
Yeah, until they figure it out and they say, this is what we're doing, this is what we require, no one's really going to know going forward, and if there's there's a lot of speculation going on about personal vendettas or this or that. Is it true? No idea. But if that's the case, then they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and so, like you said, Coinbase is looking for clarity and they're not providing it, but then they sue them over that pretty much clarity. It just doesn't make any sense. And so it's confusing the heck out of everybody, especially Coinbase and Binance.us, I'm sure, because they're suing them over something that they have no idea about. They're just as confused as anybody else. So until we hear that this is the way it's going to be, we just won't know. And it sucks. It really does.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I wouldn't say it's holding us up so much. but that may be because we're still fairly early on in the process, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get to, there's some long acronym and form number, I can't ever remember what it is, but there's the letter C in it. Anyway, when we get to the main audits, that's where I imagine, you know, if this isn't cleared up, then we would be trying to clear up a lot of red tape or jump through hoops or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Fred asks, with everything going on, have we had more eyes on us because of the path we are trying to forge in crypto?
It's a good question. It does seem to be the case. I think a lot of people are coming back into crypto. We've seen, I would just say anecdotally, looking at the chat, we've seen a lot of people come into the chat that haven't been there for a while, you know. And it's definitely interesting. I know it's led to some great conversations and some kind of like spicier conversations. We're welcoming to everyone coming back, but there's a lot of updates. There's a lot of things to get caught up on, you know. So I wouldn't jump right to what's happening. You know, nothing's happening.
Right.
Which
right.
I think it irritated some people. But I mean, yeah. So I would say crypto in general is getting a lot of, because from the low to where we were at recently with this high. I mean, it was like 100% increase, right? So people were like, they had $500 and now like, oh, I got $1,000 again, you know? So then they're jumping back in and seeing what's going on. I wouldn't say that the bear, I don't know, as far as like looking at the market, the bull run is probably not on yet. But yeah, so as far as that, now, as far as the marketing efforts, you know, are we pushing anything out there? We haven't been doing press releases. We haven't been doing anything other than just kind of keeping the community informed, right? When we have the Prime Trust, like we're actually going to market with Prime Trust, we will be doing podcasts with the guy Avi who signed us up with Prime Trust. He's got a podcast. So Lee and myself will join him on that, which will be great. Awesome. And then we'll push forward with our marketing plan. It's not so simple, right? It's easier to say, okay, when marketing, but it's like, well, what type of marketing? Like what, right. Like what would you have us do, right? And so we've got a plan that's, you know, being constructed and has been being constructed over the last little while. But for us, I think the thing is to work with an agency. There's an agency that we've been talking to, and it's like they have the ability to run ads on like Peacock and Hulu, and you know some of these. Also making connections and friends with people that they do advertising for, like gamers, you know, people that stream on Twitch and other stuff like that, and get within those circles, which I think are really important because that's more or less our demographic. People that are in crypto or, you know, are more that demographic, right? Yeah. People watching Hulu, people watching videos on gaming and stuff like that. So those are the things that we're looking at. But then again, it's also like we're not ready to pull the trigger on that because it's very expensive, and we want to be able to absorb that coming in. It's not just like, hey, we have a crypto, come buy the crypto. It would be more like, hey, we have this app, come use your crypto, come in, come out, you know, buy stuff with it, everything. Also, we have our para crypto token, so we can market both at the same time.
Yeah, and you know, I heard someone say once that the best marketing is a finished product, right? It's easy to go in and say, hey, this is what we're wanting to do or trying to do, but this instead you could say, this is what we're doing, this is how it works. Here, you can use it, right, as you're marketing it. So marketing a product, like we don't know when it's exactly coming out yet, but when you can market a product that's already out and working, especially when you go in for like the merchant side of it, where you can show people exactly how it works, how fast it is, and stuff like that, instead of just kind of explaining it and not having a finished working product, right? So, you know, marketing right now, if you really look at it, would it really benefit Para if you did a bunch of that marketing now instead of when we launch or after it's working and out. I don't think it would, So like you said, just being smart with the dollar and making it go farther, when the time comes.
I heard the saying the other day, and I don't remember where I heard it from, but it was like, if you take care of the cents, the dollars take care of themselves. Like
Nice.
you watch the cents and the dollars take care of themselves, or something like that. And I like that a lot, because that's really what it is. And especially when you're dealing with massive amounts of capital and revenue and stuff like that, you really do have to appreciate the cents. The dollars take care of themselves. It's amazing how quickly money can just go. It's just gone, right? So I think that's the mentality. And there's also different types. I mean, so if we're like, and people have different perspectives. So I'm not saying that my perspective is the only correct one, but I imagine if we have some sort of sales force and we're going out and talking to businesses and saying, hey, this is what we can do. Let's if you sign up, we'll send you a little placard you can put next to the checkout stand and say, hey, we accept crypto if you want to use it, or whatever, right? That's marketing as well. That's brand recognition. That's people going to the gas station or going to whatever and seeing it 10, 20, 30, 40 times, and then eventually going, oh, like something else in their life happens. They, crypto has progressed to a point where it's getting more adoption. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, oh yeah, I remember that app. What was that app? And getting the app. So, marketing is not just a commercial. It's not just paying an influencer to pump and dump something, right? Yep. It's a kind of a holistic approach. And so that's, I don't know, that's, I think, the view that we're taking. Yep. If we can generate revenue as a business, we can put it back into the Para token, right? Revenue that we generate goes back into the Para token, a portion of it. Yep. That's good, right? And Alex, I love what you said. A finished product is great marketing as well. So,
yep. There's nothing better than being able to show somebody how it works, because we can tell somebody, hey, it's lightning fast. It's the fastest thing out there. But until they actually use it or see it working, is it really going to work like that?
Right.
Because I've used it, we've used it testing, and it works and it's fast. But once it comes out, it needs to be just as fast and being able to use it. I tell you what, when the first time somebody uses it, a merchant or someone like me or you, it's going to be like, holy crap, that's what we want. Right. So until that happens, we just save the money, simple as that.
It's got to be on par or better than what we're currently used to. Right.
Correct. It really has to be better, because what
Really?
we're currently used to isn't that fast. But hopefully it's better than anything we're using. That would be the goal. And as far as we can tell right now, it will be. So only time will tell.
Yeah.
CP Medic, how is the process for being listed on Marketplace going? I read this comment earlier. Go ahead.
I imagine this is like the app stores.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
Okay. So we're listed. We're currently listed on both in like a beta form, right? So yeah, Spencer did mention that once we take it to market, then there's a lot of review that goes through. More than likely on the Android side, it's like a few days. Apple could drag their feet. So as of right now, there's no indication that we're being held up, but we're also not pushing the full thing through yet, right? So we're available for beta. That's why I have it on my phone. We're able to do Android testing and stuff like that. But once it's completely done, once everything on the Prime Trust side is built and the money's squared away, like that's what Apple really cares about, is make sure that there's no loopholes, that we're collecting money that they don't get a piece of, right? So that's where they kind of strip down everything and say, how does it work? How does it flow? The flow of funds, and look at it. So I would say, yeah, as of right now, there's nothing on that.
Their in-app purchases has changed in the last few months. So it's held up some apps as far as development goes with, this is what it was, and it was probably going to be fine, and things have changed. So like Cameron said, they want to make sure they get their piece, and they want to make sure we didn't hide anything in there. that we're going to get money from people and they're not going to get their percentage of, which is extremely high in my opinion. But hey,
Yeah, they just changed their tax policy as well, so it's like 30% plus we cover taxes.
yeah, right.
So
Yeah. So what's the expected time Parapay to come out and people to use?
yeah, that's
Million dollar question.
yeah, the $1 million question. July's always been the time frame. So when I'm working on this and I'm working with the team, I'm still saying July. Spencer has just, I told him I'm gonna just live in denial if that was all right with him. Because he's like Cam, the development side for us will be done in July. He's like, but bringing in Prime Trust and seeing how they're operating and this is no like shade on Prime Trust. Like we're happy to be working with them, but this merger that they're going through, I think, has slowed down stuff quite a bit. Where like even our own communications with them the last little while have been like we would be able to get an email back or we would be in this conversation on Slack channel or something within a day is now, or several times within a day is like 3 days go by and I've sent a couple emails and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then it's it's like, oh, we're so sorry, we're migrating all of our communications and our emails, and my Outlook was down for 3 days, and all of this. So it's just seeming like that side of things is gonna slow us up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still, so Spencer and Dave will have it built out, completely ready to go by July. The challenge is stuff on the administrative side, stuff on the compliance side. Can that also be done in the same time frame? Which
Right.
now our confidence is a little more shaky on that.
Yeah. Now obviously we'd be waiting on Prime Trust for some things, but could you get it approved and ready to be launched on like Apple Store and stuff while we're waiting on them? I mean, is that possible to have it kind of, I guess, looked at and have them go, yeah, it's good to go whenever you guys are ready. That way we don't have to wait on them. You know what I mean?
That would be a better thing. I mean, Spencer would be more qualified to answer that. I would imagine that we probably could, because the things that we might be waiting on with Prime Trust before they say go is like they put some like restrictions. So for instance, it'll be fully built out, but
Yep.
we'll only have 5 accounts that can actively go and trade and whatever, and that's only for testing purposes, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible that we're able to take that, push that through, and have Apple and Android say like, okay, yeah, we're good to go. Like this is good. Meanwhile, Prime Trust just hasn't opened it up fully on our end. That's a possibility from how I understand it, but I could also be just flat out wrong on that. That would be something Spencer would know about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and we can, maybe I'll jot that down and we can ask him the end of the month huddle, kind of what that might look like.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it wouldn't be, obviously we want to have all of our, if we can have everything we can do done, and the team's always been good about, if we're waiting on somebody, we're gonna make sure all of our stuff's done, right? We don't want to get them to get their stuff done and all of a sudden go, oh crap, we got to get this done still, So obviously that will be one thing.
Yeah. MG, I like this comment because so we do have a channel on our Slack about this. It's just not a focus currently, right? But once it's out, that's part of the marketing. So going to crypto expos, going to fintech expos, and having a booth and talking to people and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a big part of it. Also, I mean, it's likely that Lee and I will do some traveling, and I mean, we've got to talk to some investment banks and stuff like that just to get in the funds that we really need to take it to the next level. I mean, I would say, I mean, the vision on this, I don't want people to think that we're like going to be putting in $30,000 in marketing and like just fingers crossed, hope it works. The people that Lee has connected us with, the people that are interested in what we're doing, I mean, we're going after serious funding to take it to the next level, something where we could put like $115,000 a month into marketing, is kind of just starting out, right? So it's a serious thing, but we got to get it built out, and then we got to bring it to the public, as well as go out and look at some investment dollars.
Yeah, and the words that, like you said, them have been used quite a few times. Next level, right? They have used that countless times as far as getting para out there. So there is, we hear wind marketing all the time, and like Cameron said earlier, we always ask, what do you think we should do? And people are like, so we have some pretty good things that ideas going out there. So, and like I said, it's just that's been used a lot, as far as taking para to the next level. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. Things keep going according to plan. We just do it, day in and day out. We'll be, it was told, you said next level. And I wonder if we're taking this off of a conversation that we had. We were told, from one of the guys that has been following us for a while. He works for an investment firm, and he said that he's got the guys lined up to give us the funding to get to the next level to compete with the big boys. Like that's the type of affirmation that we're getting from the people that have, these are firms. They're when they're looking at this and they're going, oh yeah, where our average investment is somewhere between $1 to $25 million. Like it's a big deal, and we would be going after a serious chunk of change to give us about a 2-year, landing strip or runway. Sorry, like a 2-year runway, where it gives us that momentum to build and grow before we're fully on our own, right? Yeah. So I would just, it may not seem like a lot's going on right now. I don't know. Maybe it seems like there's a lot going on right now, but if you're looking from the outside in, just going, what's going on? What's actually happening? It has to be. Lee put that meme of like the turtle climbing up the mountain to the rocket ship. It's like we have a rocket ship at the top of this mountain. We've got people that are like, okay, get here, and then we're moving
take you there. Yeah,
we'll take you there. Yeah. But we have to get there first, and that's just slow. It's just slow.
Yep.
But it's slow and steady though. It is steady.
Well, if it was up to us, we'd get there a lot faster. It's just not, right? You have to work with Prime Trust, and you have to go. They have their processes just like anybody else, and it's just going to take time to integrate their process with ours. So, patience is key, and we've learned that all in crypto. And things need to be done right, and we're going to make sure they're done right. And it just, like you said, it's just slow. So,
yeah,
we'll get there.
And that's part of being fluid, like we were talking about at the beginning of the call. We had no idea. There was no mention. There was nothing going on. Obviously, why would we know that BitGo was going to be buying out Prime Trust? But when we were having these initial conversations, I doubt that they even knew that was happening. Maybe they may not have even known the conversation was happening.
Right, and even if they did, though, they're not going to tell anybody, even you. That, even if you sign a contract, you pay a lot of money, it's still, they're talking, right? They're not going to say, oh, well, we're talking to this company about them buying us out, because what if it doesn't happen? So until it's official, they're not going to just come out and tell anybody,
Well, we're not sitting down with the CEO and COO and CFO of Prime Trust. We're sitting down with their team. Yeah. Their developers and their logistics guys and their salesmen, right?
Yep.
Like that's what's happening on that front. So anyway, I bring it up because it's like, we didn't foresee that, right? Yep. And just having it kind of slow. So we've been pushing as fast as we knew as we could and can. I've been talking to Spencer and saying, hey, we got to get this through. And so anyways, he's assured me development will be done. He's like, development will be done with our time frame that we have set. So everything on our end we're able to do. But yeah, everything else, some things are just, we're working with other parties, working with other people. So,
yep. Yeah, and just to go back to, people, it might look like it's quiet, but this is why we want to do these live streams and do huddles, is to kind of just remind everybody what's going on. That there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that people don't see or hear about. But just to kind of remind everybody of what the team is doing. So I think these are really important for us to get on here and talk to everybody and kind of just, give a little bit of update if we can, talk about things that have come up like the exchanges and things like that. And just kind of say this is still what, this is kind of maybe a roadblock we're hitting or things have just slowed down. So I really love being able to get on here and talk to everybody about this stuff and, just kind of, it kind of gets everybody excited again too, just talking about it instead of just sitting on our hands waiting. So I really do think it's awesome that we get on here and do this.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for putting it together and always pushing it and being on top of it.
Yeah.
So I really am grateful for you and the work that you do and Rad and really just the community's overall engagement. So
Agree.
and we'll get people in. I mean, when the product's finished, when we have green candles, when people are hyped, like that's going to be more marketing than we could buy, right? So it's just that process. But yeah. when we land this deal and we have a product, we have businesses and we have big merchants using it, it's going to be a foregone conclusion.
Yep. And Broderson, thanks for, that's kind of just something, we'll just leave it at that, I think, on this for this question. So I know it's on there. It's not that I didn't see it, but it's just something that we don't have any answers for or, really many comments on that. So if it is to come up, it'll happen.
I would say order of operations, right? So I was privy on a conversation, or like the outcome of a conversation. The SEC stuff is what is going to make this change, right? So it was like, this is what we're doing, and part of it is that if we take the legal opinion, we're not a security, we go through that route and then go through this as not a security and then flip the script, because now everything with the SEC has come through and now we are a security, that changes things for the people we work with.
Yeah.
Right. So what was laid out for us is to go through, get the SEC stuff done, and then revisit everything.
Yeah. So kind of look at it as there's two doors, right? One with you're not a security and one that you are a security. And until we know which one we're going through, you can't go through either one of them. So until we get to that point, that's just kind of been put, kind of on the back burner. You just have to do this first, and then you can revisit that. So that's great info, Cameron. Thank you. I know people have been, it's on the kind of been on the back of everybody's minds for a long time, and
yeah.
So thanks for that. A little bit of information should help, hopefully, make everybody feel better about that.
Yeah. Well, just so people don't know, don't feel like it's just forgotten about or it didn't happen or it's whatever. It's just we get the SEC stuff done, and then we'll go forward. Same thing with Prime Trust. Prime Trust is now working, and maybe BitGo is going to be able to expedite this. I don't know, but they're working on being able to offer the security. So we saw like Cardano. The SEC came out and said Cardano is a security, right? And now it can't be offered anywhere. It's like it's now it's like an untouchable, because now if you're engaging in that, you're potentially trading securities. So Prime Trust is saying they see the writing on the wall, and they're saying, cool. So now we're going through to be able to trade securities as well as commodities, right?
Yep. It's all about adapting in this, and that's a great thing to hear that they're recognizing that early, just like we are. And adapting and changing, like you said, being fluid to go with, in the direction that we need to go in. So that's good to hear too.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right, guys. Well, do we have any more questions? Throw them up. Got a few more minutes left if anybody has any more questions. If not, we'll probably hop off. I've been on here almost an hour. But it's been great to be back on here. Hopefully we can keep it more consistent on Wednesdays. It works great for me at this time. I know it does for you too. So I'd say let's try and keep it every Wednesdays at 1 Eastern, and we'll get on here. And then the end of the month huddle, we'll have either everybody on here or we'll get on Twitter and do a space on there. with Spencer and Lee, and talk about, any of the big updates that we have. So does anybody else have any more questions? Throw them up and we'll talk about them. But again, Cameron, thank you for coming on today. And we'll hopefully be on again next week, guys. So I don't see any more questions on there. So we'll hop off. But I see it I do see everybody, MG, Broderson, Fred, CP Medic. I saw Rad up there at the beginning, Crypto Mom, Mike Rizzo. It's good to see everybody here today. So we'll be back on next Wednesday. So watch out for that. And then we'll talk about some more pair stuff. So everybody be safe the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.